host, Tom Springer.
Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. If you're looking at the bearded one, it must be Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii, 5 a.m. tomorrow out in Indonesia, and about 9 a.m. out in Australia. Welcome everybody to Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. If this is your first time coming on, welcome to the show. This is kind of a show we talk about anything and everything. We go from paranormal to cryptid to UFOs to tarot to healing to quantum healing to multi-universe stream timeline jumping, whatever else you want to talk about, it happens here. My name is Tom Springer, as I said before. Welcome to the show. I do have on a very special guest. His name is Josh Hurd, and I actually met him because he lives about 30 minutes away from me at a location called, he owns a place called the Malvern Manor. He doesn't, I guess you can say he lives there. He's there enough. So I guess you can say he lives there. But I was lucky enough to meet him about 3 years ago. The very first place I ever investigated was his location. And that was even before I had my abilities. So that was good to do that beforehand. And now that I have the abilities, going back makes it a little more interesting. But we will get into that. But first off, let me throw in Josh so we can all say hi to Josh. Hi, Josh. How you doing?
What's up? What's up?
So I'm going to throw this one up there. So because I like saying this name, Uilani Ku'ule says hello from Hawaii.
I love that name. Hello or aloha.
Or you can call her Mary. So that's
okay.
That's what everyone else calls it. So
I love that.
I just like saying, or some people just call her Uilani. So I just like being able to say the whole name. So I do. Miss Nicole is popping in to say hello. My wife.
Hey, Nicole, what's up?
Yep. So, yes, Nikki, he knows because we've already had a nice chat about you before the show. So
we did indeed.
Hi, Sylvie. What's going on? How you doing? Good seeing you here. So, Josh, I kind of mentioned how we met, kind of walking into the Malvern Manor with a couple of the people we know, and from there we just kind of continue to come back. And some of it I want to kind of talk about some of the stuff that happens there, as well as what happens during the day, during the night. So it's kind of different. And Nikki's saying, "Hey, sorry we missed you the other day." So
that was my bad, Nikki.
But I kind of want to share the experience with some folks about how it happens, what happens. And there's a couple of things I want to ask you about. They're not going to be surprises to you, but it's something I want to ask about to see what your thought process is on this. But anyways, do me a favor before I go blabbing all over the place. Josh Hurd, introduce yourself, tell people what you do and how you got introduced into doing it.
My name is Josh. I am a paranormal filmmaker, author, lecturer, now narrator of audiobooks and all sorts of fun crap. But I'm also like the curator here at what we just called Malvern Manor, a weird haunted location in Southwest Iowa, built in 1869. It was a hotel, then a nursing home, and then a group home for what they considered to be a mental handicap back then, which is vastly different than our consideration today, mind you. So, but yeah, interesting.
So a little bit of everything. So first off, because I know someone's going to ask out of the blue, so I'm just going to ask right out of the gates.
Boxers. Oh, sorry.
It's like you read my mind. No, which may actually answer my question because that was way off. Tonight, I was way off. So, man. Do you have any abilities that you admit to?
I really don't. You know, it's weird, right? Like, I feel like the more and more you're around this stuff and kind of thrust yourself into these situations, the more you kind of start to pick up on things. I don't, as far as I know, I don't. I have no idea if I truly do, or if that's something that I could maybe foster further into existence. I don't know.
Yes, you can, by the way.
I probably could.
That answer is yes.
But yeah, it's weird. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. Thinking about that or entertaining that. I enjoy interacting with the resident spirits here.
Mm-hmm.
Really do. And I think that they enjoy interacting with me. I think they love freaking me out. But
which isn't hard to do, just so the audience knows. Not hard to do.
True. Very true. I'm a little jumpy every once in a while, and I never used to be. But it's like an occupational hazard, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it's like I kind of like that shut off, that distance, right? Where it's like, oh, they may be just completely yelling at me or trying to get my attention in some way, and I'm none the wiser. I have no idea.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Kelly's still going on the sandwich. You're like, what? I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
I don't have a clue, man. That's funny though.
So as I brought up when I was speaking and as you came on, you're where I basically cut my teeth. You're where the first time I've gone to a haunted location or spiritual location, whatever people want to call it.
Yeah.
That I knew of in my life. Now I know that I have, because of my past job, I have slept in cemeteries, I've slept in graveyards, I have slept in some places where people may just say, you know what, you were in a haunted location. And I'm like, well, actually it was safer for us than it was being outside of those gates. Because of superstitions in those countries you're in, they have a tendency to not go into those locations at night, thinking that something's going to steal your soul and bring you back into the graveyard with you. But so Nikki and I went over there. So for people who don't know, where I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, basically, and he's right across in a place called Malvern, Iowa, and we are literally 30 minutes apart from each other. So that's why it was so close to us that when we got introduced, this is one of the places we went to. And when we got there, it was daytime, and Josh or whoever else is there gives you a walking tour with a lot of history, which is very cool, because there's a lot of history that goes into that place.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to hear the stories and all the information, and then to realize it's true. Sometimes makes you kind of get that skin up your back, like that weird feeling sometimes. And the very first time I was at your location, I don't know if you remember this or not, but there's a hallway basically where there's like a nurse's station. Mm-hmm. And I took 3 rapid succession pictures, just photos. And I'm like, Josh, you got to see this. And the first 2 photos were just down the hallway. And the third one had this long white, like it looked like just a streak straight down the middle of it. And then actually I took like 4 or 5 because that was the only one that had the streak, and the other ones were all perfectly clear. And I didn't move my camera. I just sat there and held it like that. And then the other cool thing while we were there was when I was up in the attic and I was taking video and pictures. Nikki and I had our phones side by side, 2 different types of phones. So this could explain everything. It could just be an anomaly. But I had what was assumed to be tons of orbs, and it was perfectly pitch black. Tons of orbs flying at mine. She did not have one speck show up on her camera at all in any way, shape, or form. And then as I look through mine, I can see there's a wall that's just made out of wood. It's like slats. Mm-hmm. And then behind that's like brick. And one spot on there that kind of comes through it, you could see what looked like the wood was on fire. And it was really cool. And so I had all that. Now, let me preface that with had, because then I decided to go, hey, I'm going to go into the crawl space. And I went into the crawl space and I started taking pictures. And I started taking video, and I did not ask to go into the crawl space. And I came out of the crawl space and my phone is completely turned off now. Nikki and I turned the light on, go, okay, let's figure out what's going on. We turned my phone back on and we look, and absolutely everything I had was gone.
Yeah.
Everything I had at that time had disappeared off of my phone, and I was pissed. Because I'm like, look at all this evidence. Oh my goodness, I'm I'm a pro at this. I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing. No, I don't. They're smarter than I am. And they don't even have at this point that actually can push buttons and make stuff happen. So that was sad.
It's funny though. We had a group here. This was not very long ago, and they were so stoked because they had like these brand new cameras, and I mean they're like the Sony 4Ks, you know what I'm saying? Like they're really good cameras. And they were just absolutely ready to roll. And they had like 4 of these things. Every single time they would turn one on, it would just die. And the next one would just die and die and die. They never were able to actually like even hit record on these brand new cameras that they were so stoked to use. Oh, they were pissed. They were so pissed. But yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So Nikki is saying, once I hit the button, that Malvern is where she had her best EVP from Inez's room. I don't know if you remember that one either, but she's sitting down and she's in the room, and it's after a big investigation went through over the weekend. And we just happened to show up like Sunday afternoon or whatever else. And they've already left. And she sits down and she starts talking to Inez and says, hey, I heard you had a lot of people. I bet you're really tired. And the recording you hear, couldn't hear it from our ears because I'm actually out in the hallway. And she's in the room by herself, and there's no one else with us at all. And I'm just standing there waiting to see if I hear anything. We don't hear anything at all. But in the recording, you hear a little girl go, yeah, I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Like, what? That is insane.
Like, yeah, a little tired.
Right? Yeah, that was crazy. And there's so many other stories like that happen in your location, which is going to drive me to one of my first. Oh, so before I get to that question, I want to tell you something else that happened when we stayed the night over there for a weekend.
Yeah.
Everyone was asleep, and I don't sleep. I just don't. I walk the perimeter. I walk up and down. I walk everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And people know me. They know that I'm walking. And at one point, I'm sitting in the chair, kind of where all of your sitting area is.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting in the chair right by the entryway, and Judy sees me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And she knows it's me, so she goes back to sleep. Well, then she wakes up and sees me again, sitting in the same chair. And she goes, man, I saw you sitting in that chair twice. I'm like, well, that's weird because I was only sitting there once. And she was like, whoa, wait, what? And I'm like,
hang on a minute.
I'm like, I only sat in that chair once, and I saw you look at me. And then I got up and I walked, and then I laid back down again.
Yeah.
And she's like, you weren't in that chair twice? I'm like, no, I was only in there once.
Oh, it's nuts, though.
Right? So I have a question for you, though, because I think I know the answer, but I want confirmation from you.
Sure.
The energy that your spirits react to kind of play off whoever was in the location last.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I bring that up because I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but I know you know who it was. We were at the location, and we had, it seemed like, a lot of violent, mischievous, rough type of happenings.
Yeah.
And it was after another group that goes there quite a few times has been there, and they are antagonistic. They try to be aggressive with it.
Right.
And then we came in afterwards, and it was like, oh yeah, we'll show you. And we're like, whoa, hey, hold up, white flag, we're good.
Everything's fine.
Right.
It's interesting to me because it's almost like, I mean, time obviously is a very man-made construct, right? Like it's a very man-made thing. So for them, we don't really know what time looks like for them. So, I mean, last night could just be, I mean, the middle of next week for all they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea, but having groups like that, like back to back to back to back, like sometimes we do, especially during like the spring and summer and fall.
Yep.
It gets quite busy. And it makes me wonder, it's like, are they aware that it's maybe a different group, or not just different team members from that group, from the antagonistic group or whatever? But yeah, it's weird.
I want you to explain to my audience that is live now, hi live audience, and those who will be watching us later, hi recorded audience. The How the house seems to morph between daytime and nighttime.
Yeah, it's weird. So it's creepy enough during the day. Don't get me wrong. It really truly is creepy enough during the day.
There's
But then,
literally blood on the walls, folks. There's
yeah,
literally so
for
just
sure, like 100% legitimate human blood on the walls. But
right.
once that sun sets, this place gets so dark. Just by sight, I should say, like just clarifying, but it gets so dark that it is very difficult to really truly see what's going on. And so it really, I think with a lot of people, I believe it kind of gets in their head a little bit,
Yeah.
which is totally understandable. But my God, the way that this place just kind of comes to life is absolutely phenomenal to me. It makes me wonder because like kind of what we were talking about earlier, how this building has worn numerous hats throughout its lifetime. That it's like, are there ghosts from different time periods maybe commingling, or if they're even aware that the other is there, right?
Right.
Like it's like you may have somebody from the turn of the century commingling with somebody who passed away in 1990.
Yeah.
Like it's fascinating to me. Sometimes, like when we're speaking with some of them are very proper in how they speak, and others are very laid back, almost a lazy tongue, very 1990s. What's up, man? Hey,
Yeah.
how's it going, bro? That stuff. It is like it's interesting to me because it's like it's very obvious that we are in fact dealing with other people from other time periods. But are they even aware of one another? Like that's what I really want to get to the bottom of, to see if they're coexisting in some way.
Well, it's
Knowing.
and it's interesting because you have so many different characters that we know of,
Right. Right.
that are everyday just residents there.
Yeah.
Like there's I kind of want you to talk about some of them if you don't mind, but
Yeah.
I want you to start, like you can start with Inez if you want to, and kind of give that explanation,
Sure.
or talk about the gentleman who doesn't like his clothes touched, doesn't like to have his clothes put on.
Yeah.
Or talk about the wonderful lady who had, oh my God, how many personalities?
Oh yeah. Okay, so Gracie is one of my favorites by far, right? And Gracie, so she was DID, okay, or dissociative identity disorder, or what we used to call multiple personalities. But she was also schizophrenic on top of all that, like a very chaotic mind state that I can't even imagine living with, right? Like, I mean, it's crazy. Institutionalized the majority of her life. I do know that. But I do know that like they would hear male voices coming from Gracie's room, and you cannot have a guy in a girl's room. That's a big time no-no. So then the nursing staff would go and they'd peek their head in, and it was always just Gracie. But yeah, very interesting to me. Like they spent 1 hour. There were 3 nurses that spent 1 hour one evening with her, and during that 1 hour, they documented 13 separate distinguishable personalities, which is damn near medically unheard of.
Right.
Like somebody that's suffering from DID.
Yeah.
The wheelhouse is like 2 to 5. So I mean, she's certainly tipping the scales. Even for somebody with DID to present an alternate personality can sometimes take days, could sometimes take weeks.
Yeah.
She's presenting 13 in an hour.
Yeah.
Like she is medically fascinating. Like I don't know. She absolutely fascinates me. It is one of my favorites by far.
So
Like,
let me ask,
built-in therapist. You know what I mean?
I got a question about Gracie, because I don't know if it was a rumor I heard or if it was something I saw in a documentation or what it was. But when she would take on some of these identities. Hi, Jerica. When I would take on some of, well, she would take on some, she would take on some of these identities.
Yeah.
It was like when you watched,
Split,
where she would take on the strength, and she
Yeah.
could, like, I mean, that was literally, I mean, if she was in a male mindset, she was as strong as that male that she had that mindset of,
which is interesting.
right?
I
And
mean,
because she wasn't young,
no, she was in her mid 50s, in fact, like when she expired.
right?
So it's like she's not exactly young. She's not exactly old. Don't get me wrong.
She's not in her 80s, but still.
Right. Very interesting, though. And I mean, DID has fascinated me for decades anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm way too damn nerdy for my own good sometimes, but I mean, it is something that has fascinated me for decades.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is just a very interesting person.
Yeah. Nikki says we have never gotten a whole lot of activity in Gracie's room, but I know she could get mad if you tried on her glasses that are still there in her room.
Yeah,
so
very much so.
So for those people who don't know, if you ever get the chance to go to Malvern, which I hope you do, because it's an experience within itself, a lot of the people who live there's items are still there. They're still in the room.
So, and that's kind of one of the things, like, now obviously I'm biased as hell, okay? But like the coolest thing about this place, in my opinion, is the fact that everything is how we found it.
Right.
So, I mean, when we got this place, when I first walked into this building, in fact, a decade ago, we haven't touched a thing. Now, obviously, like in the main room over here or over there or whatever, like we move shit around all the time, of course.
Right.
But in the meat and potatoes of this building, like you're going to find things exactly the way that we did, including like Gracie's eyeglasses.
Mm-hmm.
We have a gentleman upstairs. His name is Hank. Hank is quite the character. He used to sit out on the front porch and throw rocks at children and things like that. He's just kind of an asshole, but I also kind of aspire to be this man one day. But exactly, get the hell off my lawn, you little rapscallions. But still, like his clothing items are still in the dresser drawer. Hell, he has fingernail clippings that are still in the top drawer. Okay, it's disgusting as hell. But again, it's things that we have found that we're not touching.
Right.
Like those clothes in his room seem to be that catalyst for the activity, like the antecedent of the haunting in that particular room.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
What happens with those clothes? What are you talking about?
So folding the clothes, hanging up the clothes, generally messing with the clothes, whatever. Ladies, especially putting on the clothing,
right,
usually tends to elicit some kind of a response. He doesn't seem to care for females. Now, I do say that, and it's weird to me because now it also like will seem as if he's just I don't know how to say this tactfully. I think he's just kind of an old pervert, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's the way to say it.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. But I don't know yet. The jury's still out on old Hank up there. Yeah.
Talk about Inez for me, where Nikki got her recording it from.
So Inez Gibson, it's certainly one of the more sensitive stories that we have for sure. But like, we know the year was 1900. It was December 21st, so it was right around Christmas time. 12-year-old Inez Gibson was outside playing with her 8-year-old brother Otto. She was cold or bored, but she says, I'm going upstairs. 10 minutes pass. Her brother Otto comes upstairs and finds his sister Inez hanging by her jump rope in the closet. This looked like a form of self-harm, if you will. It kind of smelled that way. Like these children had a very tough go of life up until this point anyway, maybe further suggesting that.
Right.
In her actual official death certificate, it does say accidental death. Now, that's a hell of an accident.
Yeah.
If you ask me. I don't know. I have no idea. What I do know is that when Otto finds his sister, like any brother probably would, he tries to help her. He tries to get her down, and he is only 8 years old, and he can't. He's not strong enough. So Otto then ran to the grocery store, which is where aunt and uncle were working that day. Aunt and uncle had also just become adopted mom and dad to these kids.
Oh, yeah.
Again, tough go of life, new living situation, the whole 9 yards. But he grabbed aunt and uncle, and then he grabbed 2 doctors as well, which just seems like complete dumb luck for small town Iowa in 1900. But
Yeah.
they all raced back. They got her down. They tried to help. Far too much time had passed. There was no helping her, sadly.
Right.
This story shook the entire community. Like, even one of the doctors that was trying to assist her that day committed suicide himself 10 days later,
Oh,
which I don't know. It just gets messy, from that point.
yeah.
So what fascinates me is that one of the most active spirits we have here is a little girl claiming to be Inez Gibson. You will audibly hear her running up and down the halls. She'll call you by name. She'll ask you to come and play. That's usually another smoke break for me. But I also know definitively that Inez Gibson never passed away here on this property. Definitively, I know this.
Right.
Like, the story I just told you 100% happened right across the street over here, but never on this property. So if it is in fact her, why? Why would she seemingly be choosing to be here? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting to me because I'll just say this, right? Like, was she ever on this property? Probably. Right. And this main entrance that we have right over here, the main entrance to this building, what we call the lobby, that was the main reception for that hotel setting. This building was very multi-purpose. In that one room, in that lobby, weddings have been held in that room. Funerals have been held in that room. Every Sunday night, they would do Sunday night dinners for literally everybody in this community. They would print out the freaking menu in the newspapers and stuff, and they would eat some nasty, disgusting things. But was she on this property? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Can I prove it? No.
Right.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what pains me. Like,
So-
I'm such a pain in
Then
the
the
ass.
question is, if it's not her, what is it?
Right. So now numerous people would then say the D word, right? Of course, they're going to throw out the D word. Like, of course they are. It's a little girl. She's trying to get a hold of, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Has anything nefarious happened to suggest that further? Not necessarily, but I don't know. I don't know.
Wait,
Possibly.
not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Except
I mean-
except we do know someone who got, roughly 300 pounds that got pulled off of his cot and onto the floor in his
Hard
sleeping
work.
bag in the middle of the night.
Which was amazing, by the way. Absolutely amazing. He is a big dude.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude, but he's one of the best people and humans I've ever met in my life. Gets yanked off of his cot, like by his ankles, yanked off the cot. And I felt so bad for him. He was truly terrified.
He went out and slept in the
He
truck
did.
the rest of the night.
He did.
So yes, so there is some questions there. Oh, Nikki has a question for you.
Yeah.
She is asking, since we haven't been there for quite some time, do you feel that there are any different energies or spirits there in the past year or so, or has it stayed pretty much the same?
So I would suggest yes. Like, everything seems to be morphing and changing, and I don't know why that is, or if it's like paranormal baggage that has been brought in by other people. Yeah, this building is entirely different than what it was a decade ago when I first walked in, right?
Yeah.
It's totally different. And I'm fine with that. It just kind of leads to more questions. I'll tell you an example, right? So, okay, when people are here and they're investigating, sometimes they leave notes and they leave different things like that. And sometimes it's just like, oh, hey, they'll shoot me a message or an email or something. This is what happened. What was interesting is over the course of a month, I had 3 separate groups reach out to me and say, hey, we got the name Jeff. I'm like, okay, that's a new one.
That's a new one, yeah.
Haven't heard that name. What was interesting, though, is every single one of these 3 groups was saying, oh, hey, we ran into this guy named Jeff. They must have all been asking roughly the same battery of questions. Did you live here? Did you die here? Blah, blah, blah. Because they all got the same response. No, I'm new here. How the hell does that work? Like,
Right?
don't ask me. I have no idea. Like, but that fascinated me. Now, a lot of times I will take information and I'll sit on it, right? I will just sit on that information and see if we can correlate anything further down the road. Those three things as a prime example. I'm going to sit on this name Jeff and I'm going to see if Jeff comes through for anybody else. We were doing this weird like Friendsgiving type thing over here, and we had a psychic medium friend of mine, and she was walking through. Just the same as any psychic medium or whatever, I'm not going to give you anything to go off, right? Nothing. So we're walking through, and she's kind of peeking behind her back, and I'm like, "You good?" And she's like, "We have a creeper." I go, "What the hell does that mean?"
Right.
She's like, it's somebody like peeking around corners, like the door frames. They're peeking at us. They're like following us through the building. I'm like, oh. And she looks back and she goes, "You can come out." I'm like, "Well, who is it?" And she's just seemingly talking to the wall for all I know. I have no idea. I'm about as psychic as a rock in the driveway, right? But I'm like, hey. I'm like, "Who is this?" And she goes, "Well, he says his name's Jeff." Bing, bing, bing. In my brain, I'm like, whoa. Again, not going to give her anything. I go, "Oh, yeah? What's Jeff's story?" She looks at me like you would look at somebody over your glasses, like, I don't believe what I'm about to say here. But she goes, "Jeff says he's new here." I go, "I think you and I need to have a conversation. That's crazy." So I was like, "Jeff, go ahead and make yourself comfy. Pick out a room. Stay if you want. Hang out, please." He said, "There's not a lot of rooms left." Okay, maybe that's true, but pick out a good room or whatever. He picked the last room in that hallway leading down to the attic. The last room on the right-hand side leading towards the attic.
Really?
He is such a prankster, such a jokester. He is exactly the ghost I want to be one day. Anything that could potentially go wrong or whatever, he's going to take credit for that in a very joking type of manner. Seems to be just kind of fun-loving dude. And I'm like, I'm totally cool with Jeff. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is insane to me. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Nikki says she asks because we've heard 100 places around us say that different energies seem to be in their places now. There's one that's out in Iowa, Cedar Rapids area. You may know it.
Probably.
But Kat, who works there, now you know exactly who it is.
No, I know exactly where it is.
She said the energy in that place was overtaken by something else.
Interesting.
It seems to have more control over what's happening in there and it's not as dark, but it's much more controlled chaos than the dark chaos it was.
Interesting.
And I actually they went on an investigation and she asked me to watch. So I watched. And they kept coming across a young man, and he was tapping like this, and he was, "Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away." And I'm like, "Are you guys getting that?" And I'm watching like this through video, and they're like, "Are you getting that?" And they're like, "We're not getting anything." I'm like, "Okay, so ask about the boy, late teens, rocking back and forth." And I go, "Oh, he has autism."
That's exactly what I was just going to say. He was stimming, right?
And too loud.
Yeah.
You all down there are too loud.
Yeah.
And when they left, he stopped. And he was able to have a conversation with me, and I was able to tell her about it. But he was the one who said, "There's someone new here. There's someone new here. There's someone new here. There's someone new here." So he was our one to let us know that something else had happened in the area. And the old man that the guy that lives down in the workroom down in the basement down there. One of the ladies went in there and just sat quietly, but then two of the guys went in there and got a little loud, and all of a sudden I hear him go, "You need to make them leave. You need to make them." So I'm like, "You need to tell them to get out.
Yeah.
You need to make them get out." As Kat finally goes, "Hey, you guys need to leave. Tom, there's something going on in that room that is not about to be very happy, and you need to leave." All of a sudden you hear them go, "What the?" And they took off running that room.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
So yeah, so it was kind of interesting that
Wow.
that it seems like something new is happening in these locations.
It is interesting, isn't it? Like how buildings just kind of morph,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I did, but it is a thing. That is for damn sure. Like
Yeah.
it is a thing.
So now I'm trying to figure out, since I know the whole layout of your place. Now
Yeah.
I'm trying to tap in and I'm trying to say, okay, did someone bring it? Which I don't think. I don't think someone brought it.
Do you think it's feasible that we can like awaken some of these things? Like, I mean, if they're just like sitting dormant, what the was that?
And there you go.
I hate my job.
Clockwork.
In this room, man.
So just so you all know, he's actually literally sitting in Malvern Manor when he's
Oh, yeah, that's where I have my studio.
Yeah, this is where the studio is. So it's not like he's at home.
No, I'm not at home. Christ.
So maybe
I'm about to build a studio in my house now.
So describe what just happened, because
it was just plain as day. It was a girl voice, like hey, hi, something.
Oh, that is
like
awesome.
Right here by the desk, like right on the other side of the table.
Yeah. See, Jerica says someone has something to say. So
apparently, like I'm just. It's your world, y'all. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. You know what I'm saying?
At that time, Jerica said,
okay, so you heard it too. Then Jerica heard it too.
So she heard it.
So I'm not totally crazy.
Well, not for this reason.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's definitely fair.
Damn it.
So
Oh.
So Nikki, I hear. Oh, see, and Wendy said she heard it too.
Oh shit! Okay.
So multiples, outstanding.
Oh, well, that's good news.
So Nikki's saying, I feel like it's paranormal groups that are bringing in their own spirits, or are we opening new portals in these places when we are investigating? Ding, ding.
Okay, and that makes total sense to me.
Yours is a portal. Now, here's the thing with yours.
Go easy on me, man. I'm already freaked out. But go ahead.
It's not that. Sorry. Since this happened, all of a sudden, like everyone's wanting to talk, and I'm like, "Shut up! I'm talking here."
Leave me alone.
Yours is your portal is not always open.
Okay.
It's something triggers it. Full moon, certain time of night, something opens it up for a window and then closes again.
Mm-hmm.
So either it needs to know it about the portal. Hi, Sarah. So it either needs to know about the portal or it just stumbles across it.
Okay.
And Nikki says, "Oh, by the way, just because you do have so many mirrors in that place."
Okay. So seriously, I also have a very large mirror that I just acquired, and I wish I was kidding when I say this thing is at least 4.5 feet tall, probably 3 feet at least wide. But it came from a haunted house. These people just wanted to offload it because they told them that this was the antecedent of the haunting. And so I have it sitting here in the office because it's heavy and it's awkward and I don't know where the hell to put it. So naturally my dumb ass puts it in here. Now I do have it facing towards the wall, so it's not like reflecting anything, but damn it. There are so many numerous like just haunted things around here.
Yeah.
Bless
it. Yeah, Jerica said, well, you just welcomed them right in with that. So
probably like but that's interesting, like what you're saying, right?
Yeah. But
like
I really even if it is that mirror, it's a time trigger.
So
yes.
And that's kind of where I'm going. It's like, okay, just as an example, right? Like I can go grocery shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I can go up and down these aisles. I can get my groceries. I can go check out. And that's that. I go to the exact same store to pick up the exact same items with my group of weirdos or whatever. right? And in my close-knit group of friends, shit's literally flying off the shelves at us. You know what I mean? Lights are flickering on and off around us. It's like
Is it,
one of us is a haunted mamma jamma. You know what I'm saying?
is this your male group of weirdos?
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can, and I even know who to blame it on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I even know who to blame it on there.
For
So,
sure.
so Nikki's saying, hold on a second. So you brought something from a haunted house into Malvern.
For God's
You're
sake.
asking for trouble.
Listen,
Jerica, no, he said that the mirror he just brought in
no,
faces the wall, but
it is facing. Yeah, I have it in the corner, up against the wall, so the reflective surface is just up against the wall.
right.
Because I didn't want to look at it because it's trippy. But
So,
yeah,
so right now, you literally have like stuff trying to come through the mirror, going, "Get me off the wall!" I can't
probably, that's probably what it was. It was some little girl saying, "Hey,
right.
let me out of this damn thing."
Hey,
Yeah.
now you know. Next time if you hear, "Hey," then you'll be like,
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Yeah. Oh Lord. But yeah, it's never a dull moment around here. It truly isn't. But it's like it makes you wonder. It makes you question your own sanity.
Yeah, and
it really does.
So when we were there, it was very interesting to feel the difference between day and night. It was a shift.
Yeah,
there is a shift.
Like for sure.
And there is definitely, and it's really weird when Josh explains Malvern Manor and he says, Amy says no to the 3 knocks. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no to the 3 knocks, please. For God's sake.
But when Josh explains when you go to this place and it's dark. I mean, you look down both sides of the hallway and you can't see the end of the hallway.
I know.
You know, and they're not like they're not like 100-foot hallways, but they're pretty good, decent. But so I am still curious, and I want to say my answer is yes. There was something that was at that location when a certain somebody got stuck there overnight, and she had to stay in the manor, and we happened to be investigating at that point, and she was there.
Yes.
And she investigated with us. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
And then when she and I, when the groups were investigating, she and I kept seeing this thing crawl up that wall.
Up the damn wall and onto the ceiling and all that.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, we saw that because it was funny because both of us were like, she's like, where do you see it? I'm like, well, it's right there. She goes, yeah, but where? I'm like, it's up on the ceiling. She's like, yeah, that's what I'm seeing it at too. And then I'm like, all right, where do you see it? She said, well, it came down to the floor. I'm like, yeah, it is. And we're like, the lights are going off by where we're at.
It's so crazy.
And but it's really cool because it didn't feel dangerous. It didn't feel malevolent. It just felt lost. Like it was like, whoa, this is not, I should have taken a left at Albuquerque. This is not
This is not where I was expecting to end up.
Right?
It's like, wait a minute, Iowa? Really? It's like, shit, man.
Really? But so for people who I'm telling you, this is a great place to go. And I'm going to give it another claim to fame. I don't know the name of the place, but if you go down out the main exit, go to the right, and take another right along Main Street, there is a fantastic food place right there.
It's literally in the front yard.
It's that little tiny hole in the wall restaurant that has the best fries and the best ice cream. Oh my goodness.
It's insane. That's half my problem. That's why I had to start taking Ozempic for Christ's sake. But anyway, so like here I am just trying to drop some LBs, damn it. But like you smell it and I'm like, damn it. Like I know I'm gonna order a burger. But yeah, they're called the Salty Heifer. And it's so good. It is so good. It's just like a mom and pop burger joint, you know. It's so good.
Yeah.
We really lucked out with this location. Honest to God, we did. So
but so some people, it's weird too. Like when you go into your building, it really depends on who you are about where you like. Yeah. Nikki loves Inez's room. She just loves it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Where do I draw myself to?
Where?
The creepiest place there is, the attic.
The attic, of course.
I go to the attic, or my second favorite, that I don't get to investigate a lot is outside.
Yeah.
In the underground area.
Yeah.
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 That's a cool spot. I like that. And that's
It's
all the
weird.
needs to go back up into there.
Uh-huh.
I just like want to crawl around there because I really, really think that you have an elemental that lives in that area.
So
I
would totally agree with that. I mean, certain EVPs and things like that we've gotten down there would suggest very similar things. I really want to get into some of the soft spots in that place, in the basements specifically.
Yeah.
The crawl spaces, where it's literally like it's so tight you can't even roll over.
Yeah.
But I just purchased a metal detector, and then I got like a pinpointer and all that crap. I've been watching way too much Oak Island, okay? But I got a metal detector, all right? And it's too damn cold now to use it. But here in the next couple months, I am going to just strap a GoPro to my head and just go and just try to find what we can find. I don't know, because I guarantee you, like, this place has secrets that it has yet to reveal. I swear to God it does.
Yeah. And I'm interested. I'm very, because I don't know why, I don't know how, but some reason there's a lot of, I don't want to say I will say they're tied together, but I don't know how or why.
Yeah.
Villisca and you.
Dude.
Right?
It's super weird. Like, I remember, okay, so Hauser and I were here. We were talking, and you know those weird, like, 3 a.m. drunk conversations that you have with your buddies?
Oh, I've seen I don't know, but yes, I've seen
bro. I'm not good at drinking at all. But I will say that, like, I mean, we came up with some really weird shit.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait a minute. Like, maybe there's something to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very feasible that whoever did the Villisca axe murders could have potentially stayed here a night or two before or after or what have you. And if it was before, I mean, hell, it's feasible that the murders themselves were plotted within these walls. And and so I got this, a buddy of mine went to an estate sale and found this really cool, it's like a plat map type thing, but it has different towns on it. And Villisca and Malvern, coincidentally, were right next to one another.
Next to each other. Yeah.
It was really, really cool, because then on these maps, you can then see this B and MR railroad system that goes right to the front yard, basically, of the manor. And it goes right beside the Villisca axe murder house as well. The exact same line. I'm like, we weren't crazy.
Wow.
Like, it's right here. You know what I mean? Like, it's right here in front of us. And so from that kind of stemmed, like, when Destination Fear came here and did Villisca and the same investigation.
Yes.
It all kind of stemmed from that, because they were like, oh yeah, we really want to come to do Villisca and we really want to come do Malvern. But Dakota was like, they're too damn small.
Right.
I go, Malvern's 10,000 square feet. Like, I know. He goes, yeah, but the network only wants us to do like 16. It has to be like 16,000. I'm like, that's stupid. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I was like, I've got your angle. You know what I mean? Like, we've got your angle.
Yeah.
Like, you could do both, and you could then, split your team up or whatever, but you could do both.
Do some stuff in one place, do some in another.
Yes.
So a new theory has been brought to light that someone mentioned about that place, and it made me really focus. And I want to say yes, because when I've asked my spirit guides about it, they've told me yes, which is fantastic. So there is someone has brought to my attention that they believe that the grounds that Villisca was on or is on was native. It was known that it was native. It's actually there's evidence of it.
Yeah.
So is yours.
Yeah.
And that there is I don't want to call it they call it more of a vortex type thing that is actually under the ground of their location, and I think it's also under yours.
That's interesting.
So I think that tie goes deeper, no pun intended,
No,
deeper
absolutely.
than just the properties, than just the houses themselves.
It makes me wonder, it's like, will we ever fully understand it, right? Because like, I mean, shit, when we were first like the first documentary film that I ever made, when we were filming that, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, especially on night one. Night one was an absolute shit show.
Right.
It was terrible. But I will say that night, if things hadn't gone the way they did, I never would have found this place. The first 10 minutes of my first documentary is quite literally us stumbling upon this place. Because we were across the street investigating, and that went to shit. And then I met this dude outside who was like, I got a weird place. I'm like, pretty sure we just became best friends,
Right.
And then looking into it more, because the whole crux of that documentary film focuses on another location, which is in Northwest Missouri, and goes kind of back to my college days when I was attending Northwest Missouri State University in Maryville, Missouri. But this really creepy place called Workman's Chapel. But looking at these old maps, there is a glacial rift that goes right from here, right through the front yard of Villisca, and stops right in the front yard of Workman's Chapel.
Awesome.
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
And so we're like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like there is, like, we've dug and dug and dug and dug and dug, and we just, you know what I mean? We thousands of theories, and we have no idea, like, what is the real crux of all of this.
Any of it is
something.
Yeah,
It's something for sure.
That really brings them all together. But
yes, for sure.
So I'm going to go back to a question. Actually, I have two of them. Nikki's asking. Oh, Nikki has a statement. Do you realize that at Malvern Manor, she was given an outdoor light fixture from the basement a few years ago?
Enjoy.
And then she was like, you know what? This probably isn't the best thing to have. So she laid it at her old house when she sold it. And we haven't heard anything from the people at all. But
good.
No, I think I'm going to leave that one here.
Hey, whatever.
Go to the new place we go to.
It's the best. It's the freaking best.
And then Jerica is asking, do murder? I mean, the answer is yes. Do murderers stay in that spot that it happened, or do the victims?
That's a fair question.
So a lot of times the answer is yes. They either or both.
Yeah,
will do that.
And it's weird. Like, I mean, I've been in Villisca, Jesus, I mean, dozens, hundreds of nights at this point. You know what I mean? But it's like there's certain nights where it's like, yeah, not a lot's happening, or it's like, oh, this is kind of nice and calm and playful and just having general interactions and things like that. There are other times where it is so just heavy, dark, and you want to just cry. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
I have to go home and hug my kid.
Yes. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's we've got numerous times, and here's another connection, right? Like numerous times here, we've gotten the name Reverend Kelly. Why would that make a difference here in Malvern, Iowa? Why is Reverend Kelly
instead of way down over?
But now over in Villisca, they've been getting the name Inez. Like, why would Inez Gibson be over in Villisca?
Right.
Is it just a bromance between Johnny and I? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But I have no idea. It's freaking weird.
So, and Amy points out, hi, Amy. She points out that you're talking about the glacial rift. Well, there's the water to make the energy stronger to track the locations.
Exactly.
And Nikki wants to know if you have an opinion on who murdered the family.
I've always thought it was Kelly. just because he's a freaking weirdo. Like, he's a hell of a suspect.
And too many things lined up. Just
And he oh God. And now it's like him and his wife, they're buried in New York City, in unmarked graves. Unmarked graves. Yeah.
Huh.
Super bizarre.
Yeah.
But like, he's such a weird guy. Like, by all definitions and terms and everything like that, he would be considered schizophrenic by today's terms, 1000%.
Yep.
I mean, at one point he confessed to killing.
But
and then he also said he worked for the Queen of England. So you're like, God damn it. Like, what is this dude doing? You know what I mean? So they acquitted him because they're like, yeah, he's probably caca-duty shit crazy.
Probably trying to bite, he's probably trying to bite his own face crazy, you know?
Right. But damn it. It's like he's always, to me, been such a character.
Yeah.
That he's just weird enough to do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Could it have been a transient? Absolutely.
Right.
Like, there's that really good book, The Man from the Train. Holy shit, what a great book that is. And it's just, it follows this path of very similar crimes all across the country. It's just following the rail system, in fact. But it fascinates me.
Yeah. So does Johnny still own the place?
Johnny, I believe, still works at the place. He doesn't own the place, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
the people that bought Villisca are the same people now that own the Lizzie Borden house.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah.
It just all of these different.
When we went there, the tour guide, she was very nice, younger girl. She gave us around. Yeah. And like I said, we were the only tour that whole day. So she stayed with us for a while and just talked with us for a long time. She was very knowledgeable, and she talked about like some of the creepy stuff that's happened to her and where they seem to have the most energy and everything else. But yeah, she said that the new person who purchased it was owned the Lizzie Borden house. So
yeah.
Yep. So
and there's a few others I think that they own as well. I'm not sure.
But yeah, that's the big one she brought up. So
yeah.
So, someone has done something a couple of times at your location, and I know when they've done it, it has really set off a lot of stuff, and they've received a lot of information coming back in. But when they left, I've never heard how you had to deal with it. So there has been someone that we know.
Okay.
That has the book, because you have a book out with all the names of the people who lived that are listed as being coming through the Malvern Manor.
Yes.
And they
all the people that died here. Is that the one? Yeah.
All the people who have passed there.
Yes.
And they have taken that and they've had like a necromancer or something along those lines and they read through that book and stuff responds to it,
which is a super cool idea,
right? Which either repeats the name or says hello, or says that's me, or something along those lines. Now, when they're doing it, I know the energy is just crazy in the location, but when they leave, do you feel that the energy is still amped? Because it was like, that was me. They mentioned my name, type of thing. Like I got the recognition.
Like 100%. Like the activity for sure will continue. Like for sure. It's usually days. Like I will say that 2, 3, 4 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's 100% a thing. That's why I have this studio right here. So I can just hide and just be away from it all.
Right.
Until they decide to come in here, apparently.
And say, hey, through the mirror that you have.
Hey,
whatever.
Jesus.
We'll just leave that alone. So, So there's 2 people that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
There's the captain.
Oh yeah, and so the captain is a character for sure. But he was a gentleman that built the place. Captain Jacob Cullers built this place in 1869. 4th structure built in town.
Right.
And again, primarily just servicing the community as a railroad, things like that. Or excuse me, servicing the railroad as a hotel, I should say. But
Oh, yeah.
I mean, very strong ties to the building, and a lot of people claim to run into him up on the second floor, which he does seem to be fairly like territorial, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usually he kind of keeps to himself, and every time that I've spoken with him, it's always been a fairly proper conversation. Other people have been scratched and things like that, but that's usually after they've been provoking in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, I'm no good at it. You know what I mean? I'm just no good at that anyway. And so I'm like, maybe there's just a mutual level of respect between him and I. Like, I've never had a negative encounter with him. I've seen people that have gotten lit up.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I'm dead, but I'm not gone. So
right. He's like, be careful with my baby. Right. Exactly.
And I don't know if you want to talk about him since you're there by yourself and it's dark, but let's discuss the Shadow Man.
Oh yeah. So this is one of the cool ones. Like, so we have this phenomenon here that we just call the Shadow Man phenomenon, and it's a very tall black humanoid figure that comes out of room number 2, will turn and then run at people.
Yes.
Usually traveling the distance of 30, 40 feet in less than a second. It is moving that fast, and this is also what sends the majority of people out the front door, myself included. But like, I will say, like, it's fascinating to me because it was the day after Paranormal Lockdown aired on TLC, and a nurse that used to work here got a hold of me, and she said that the gentleman that occupied room 2 was 6'7", nonverbal, mentally deranged, had even killed a few people in the past, right? So here is a monster of a gentleman who cannot verbally relay emotions.
Yeah.
He probably can't process emotions the way that we probably can. And so he's just acting upon them as he sees fit. Maybe, right? I have no idea. What I do know is that his little claim to fame is that whenever they were doing bed checks or rounds or whatever you would call that, he would come out of that room and he would chase the nursing staff.
Yeah.
He would chase them as far as the kitchen, which is a pretty good clip. It's like half a house away. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good. But he would never enter the kitchen. He would stop himself at the threshold to the kitchen and never enter the kitchen, which, me being demented, I have a real problem with, because I'm like, well, now hang on a tick. Because if I were trying to hurt you and I didn't have access to a weapon or anything like that, like, what better place than a kitchen?
Right.
I could get very creative in a kitchen. You know what I'm saying? But he never did. Like, he never hurt anyone.
Right.
He was here anyway.
He just scared them.
And I think he kind of got his rocks off on that, if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying? So it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what's going on there. But it's fascinating. Like, I absolutely hate it and love it all at the same time. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Nikki is asking, do you feel like there is anything that enhances the energy there? Certain time of year, certain kind of weather, investigators doing specific things?
Yeah. Yeah. For whatever reason, and I have my theories, obviously, but from Thanksgiving on through the new year, that is the most active this building will be, which is also funny to me because coincidentally, it's also the time of year where less people are booking overnights, right? Because it's cold, it's close to the holidays. It's, you know what I mean? Like, God, nobody wants to spend money around Christmas. But I also think maybe it's just due simply to the emotional significance of the season itself, where we are close to family. We gather as family, and they would probably receive more visitors, maybe potentially at that time. But there's more of that camaraderie There's more of that family element, even here, without a, flesh and blood type of family or whatever. There's still that. And so, my wife and I, for an example, every single year, we make it a point, and this is twofold. There's numerous reasons we do this, but we will take all the Christmas presents that we have for our children. We bring them here, and we'll wrap them. We wrap our presents here. Number one, we do experiments while we're doing it. Number two, our kids don't have to see that.
Kid,
You know what I mean? Right. So, yeah. So this studio becomes like a catch-all for all the Christmas shit.
Yeah.
So we can sneak it into the house, and all that stuff. But yeah, it is interesting to me, like that time of year for sure. Definitely seems to have more activity, and that's like top to bottom in this place for whatever reason. I will also say that they do tend to, like when you're using like EM pumps, for an example, if you deploy EM pumps around and stuff like that, it does seem to be more.
Yeah.
And I think it's just kind of Red Bull for spirits, right? You know what I mean? So they're able to maybe do more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, with you talking about the train.
That's fair too. Yeah, of course.
Travel on the train possibly.
Yeah.
So that could be.
That's a great point.
Yeah. My audience coming up with thoughts.
I'm telling you though, it's giving me more shit to think about, right? So
he's smart. I love my audience.
They're awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah. So outside of Malvern, what else are you doing? Let's cover everything now.
Oh my Lord. So
hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Tell Nikki and my audience where you're going to be in July.
So okay. So it kind of goes into what I'm doing now too.
Well, there we go.
So on top of like all the audiobooks and the documentaries and bullshit like that, I am also then doing we're doing like events, right? And it's my buddy Chad Lindberg, who was from like the movie like Fast and Furious and October Sky, and he was on the show Supernatural. Chad's been in literally everything. But it's Chad Lindberg and our good friend Stormy Daniels, and then my dumbass. And we go to different haunted locations and we hold events, and we call it Zoinks, like the Scooby-Doo stuff. Zoinks, right? Yeah, and like Zoink Scoob, that stuff. But we have so much fun with it, and we do experiments, and we, all of this stuff, and it's always a really cool, positive experience for everybody. Everybody seems to have a great time. We have a blast doing it, and of course, it's like, there's a lot of serious investigation that happens, and there's a lot of time to kick back and just tell a stupid fart joke or something like that too, right? Because why not?
Yes.
Because you have to. But so that's what we've been doing. The last place we went was the McIntyre Villa.
Oh yeah, we did
in Atchison, Kansas. Great location, excellent location. We've done one here at the Manor, and now coming up, we're going to be at and you're gonna have to remind me on the name. It's the Rock. What is it called?
It's the Paranormal
Rockdown. So we're gonna be there.
That's in July.
Dude.
Broadhead Manor.
I'm so excited
in
about
Wisconsin, right?
I am so excited about this. So we're gonna be there, which is gonna be fun because we've never done like a con before. Yeah. We've never done like a paranormal convention type setting before. So I don't know what to expect other than it's gonna be a blast.
So so this is for you and for anyone else who plans on going to Paranormal Rockdown.
Yeah.
They have made some modifications. And see, there's Nikki right there.
Oh, it's
they are at Paranormal Rockdown. We're going to be there too. See,
we're going to be hanging out for sure.
But one of the things that was mentioned is that the music has moved. Did you know that part?
No.
Okay, yeah, they moved. Apparently, there was conflict with something. They couldn't get a speaker system in there.
Oh, I see.
So now it's going to be like 20 miles north.
Okay.
At a location that's just going to be the music all night long. But if you want to investigate that night, you can. They're going to have investigations set up that night as well.
That's
so either or. And then Saturday is going to be the big hoopla with everybody, vendors and you guys and all that fantastic stuff. And then Saturday night's the other investigation stuff. So
it's going to be fun. Like I know so little about it just because Stormy's the one that's been taking care of all that shit.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I just show up. Like show up. Oh, here I am.
Here I am.
Here I go, guys.
Am I at the right place? Please say
it's funny as fuck because I'm like, okay, I've got Lindberg on one side and I've got Stormy on the other, and I'm like, nobody knows who the fuck I am.
I do. I do.
Different. I'm like, nobody cares. You know what I mean? I'm just like, nobody fucking cares. I'm like,
no, you can't. Now, truly, you can't say that because you have done, as you listed,
I've done some stuff. I've done some stuff.
You've done some stuff.
I've done some stuff and things.
You've done some things.
And some things and stuff.
Things and stuff and other stuff. And other things.
Right.
So I want to, Nikki wrote something up, and I want to ask this question because that's interesting. Because Amy brought up the travel with the train tracks, that the train that went through and everything else. It says, has anybody ever tapped in train sounds?
Yes.
In your location?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. It's abso-freaking-lutely. Like I've tried all sorts of different crap, you know what I mean? Just everything that we can. Like anything to elicit a response, we're trying to do.
And Nikki says, no worries, she's gonna ask for your autograph and get a pic with you.
For fuck's sake. Okay.
So be easy on her when you charge her money for it. So
no, I won't. That's what's funny about it. I never ever will charge for an autograph. Like ever.
Yeah, I see some of the names coming in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to afford to get anything with that person. So
now, who all do they have coming?
I'd have to look it up again.
Oh yeah, okay. I put you on the spot.
But there are a lot.
That's good though. It'll be fun.
Just a couple of new ones too lately, and I'm like, oh my goodness. That person, I'm not going to pay the $230 to get an autograph with them.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
a lot.
It's like 4 paychecks for me. So
no, not doing that. Not doing it.
Right. Oh. So along with the shenanigans that you're pulling with Lindberg and Daniels, what else you doing? Are you still 4Ging it up or G4?
So we stopped with the G Crew. So Nick, so G Crew was a really cool podcast that we did, and it hit just at like the right time because like COVID had hit.
Yeah.
And everybody was just like stranded. And so it's like, okay, well, Nick Groff, Chad Lindberg, Johnny Hauser, and myself would just sit here on a very similar platform to this, and we would just talk. And we would interview people. We interviewed people in the paranormal. We interviewed actors, musicians, Olympic gold medalists, for Christ's sake. Just anybody with a cool story to tell. And it didn't have to be scary. It didn't have to be anything paranormal at all. It was just conversational fun. You know what I mean? And it was a great time. But then like Nick started to do his show Deathwalker, which he's doing great with. Chad, fucking Chad, he starts making movies with Kevin Costner and shit like that, for fuck's sake.
Right?
Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. Yeah. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, here's Hauser and I just sitting here. Oh man, but honestly, like I'm doing a lot of like audiobooks. Like I literally just finished like my 15th audiobook for Audible. Well, so I'm doing that. I'm really keeping busy with the YouTube channel and all of that crap, just documenting everything here. Christ, I'm doing another podcast with a good buddy of mine, Steve Shippey, another filmmaker. He does like the Haunted Saginaw series, and he's up in Michigan. So just kind of all over the place, but it's a good kind of a busy, you know what I mean? Like it's a really good busy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the audiobooks is really good for you because you have a great face for radio.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, exactly. I'm like, listen. I'm like, you're not going to put me in front of a camera, probably, okay? But
I can tell a story.
I can. I can.
Right?
I can tell a story. I can use inflections and things like that. But yeah.
See, yeah.
It gets really difficult sometime.
Even Mo said, John, voice sounds cool. You'd be great on the podcast, right?
Thank you. What gets really fucking really trippy is when you get asked to go talk at like a career day type thing scenario in front of children, high school children specifically, and they're like, "Well, how do you make your voice do that?" And I'm like, "Do what?" And they're like, "But how your voice? It has like that baritone thing."
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, "Well, that's just my voice."
That's me.
You can't say whiskey and cigarettes. You can't say that. You know?
I mean,
you can't say it. You could, but then they'd probably take my check. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, but no, it's fun though. It's a lot of fun. I have fun doing it, especially when I'm reading like a paranormal story, which I do a lot of books for my buddy Richard Estep, who's a really good paranormal author. And so I do a lot of his books too, and they're fun. You know what I mean? Like, you can really get into it and get creepy with it. And oh my God, I turn off the lights in here. I get as spooky as I can. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love doing the audiobook stuff.
So I have a great idea for you for method acting that way.
Oh God, Christ.
Turn that mirror around.
No. Absolutely not. I think I'll probably at one time have to. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. Somebody's got to take it.
Wait, so I have a question about that mirror.
Yeah.
When did you get it? How long ago?
Like maybe 2 months ago. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 2 months ago.
I was curious because
yeah.
I'm currently working a case where we made the person get rid of their mirror.
For fuck's sake.
Because we thought that's where the entity was coming through.
Oh shit, man. Is this the same case?
And I'm like, oh man, when did you get that mirror? But no, you got the mirror longer ago than we told them to get rid of the mirror. So
Okay.
Mirror.
So I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, it came from like the Bellevue area. So I'm like, shit. I'm like, it's kind of in the same berry patch there.
No, this was back east. So
okay.
So Nikki is recommending, yes, turn the mirror, do a live show, and put it behind you.
Oh, for God's sake. You guys just want to see me squirm is all it is.
Come out from behind them, like
oh, shit. Speaking of that, like the fingers from like Phasmophobia that come and like grab you, which I was playing that just before I hopped on here. It scared the shit out of me. I just started playing Phasmophobia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh. It's ridiculous. I'm like, I'm a ghost hunter. I can do this. I'm like, no, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Leave it alone. It's okay.
It's fun. Oh my God.
Looks like I lost the page.
I did too. I lost it. I lost the feed or whatever.
Well, I'm still good with you.
Yeah. No, I got you. I just lost the comments. I lost all of those. Like 20 minutes ago, I lost them. So.
Did you? I'm just
over here.
I just now lost them. So
yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I'm trying to figure because it's funny because like my pinned comments are still there.
Oh, they're still up?
Yeah. Like I can go to my pinned ones and it works. Because like Jerica, hopefully they're still with us, but she even posted, if you ever need a place to visit, my brother would let you come visit his place over by Staplehurst.
Oh, wow.
So just so we know, we have a place.
That'd be funny.
So yeah, so I would tell Nikki to let me know if we have feed still going. I mean, I still see that there's people in here. There's still
watching. I mean, it still says live and all that stuff. It's still counting.
She said my Facebook page disappeared.
Oh, weird.
Weird.
Jeez.
That's see, we talked too much about the mirror. That's got to be what it is. So,
I was gonna say something so horrible, and I'm not. I'm gonna do it. Bad Josh. Bad Josh. Bad Josh. No cookie. It's just my go-to for everything. It happens. Everything bad that happens.
Hold on, she just yelled at me. What? so so Nikki watches from upstairs
Yeah,
just in case shit goes sideways.
that totally makes sense.
But the problem is she's upstairs. So when she yells at me and goes, man, 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 I'm like, what? Oh, she's on Facebook and can see comments. So
Okay. Well, there you go.
it's just us. We just can't. Well, and by the way, I just started a comment pop up. So hopefully that means I can see them now too. Well, I can't see comments on Facebook, but Mo can see them because she said she could from Facebook.
What's going on?
Second.
That's funny.
I am CAT smart. You can't fool me. I'm a moron.
Dude, I get it. I get it.
So, well, we've been kind of blobbing for like an hour and 20. So,
yeah.
So I think this is a good taste. I think this is us telling us it needs to wrap it up.
Probably. The internet's like, okay, guys.
Disappearing. They're like, all right, you're done.
The internet's like, cut it off, boys.
Right? They're like, all right, you guys are done. There's too many things that we're going to start effing with. And once we log off, they're basically saying you need to log off. And I think it's where you're at. I think they're telling me you need to log off so we can go fuck with Josh more.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Live. So we're going to go ahead and do it. And I think everything's popping back up because while we were talking, I literally clicked on my Facebook little dot and hit reset.
Oh, yeah.
I think it rolled back in. So
that's cool.
I can't even find stuff I never learned from a school book.
Well, Mo and Amy said that they can see comments and. So
cool.
Okay, good.
So
because I'm like, I can't even find.
Yeah, Nikki says she can't even find my page anymore on there. So
I think you blocked me.
Woo!
Oh my god!
I'll have to go through and see if I blocked my wife.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
You think she's an admin? Awesome. So, all right. Well, do me a favor. Let people know. I want to finish up with you. I know you hate selling yourself.
I do.
I know, but too bad. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
You've done books. Tell us about your books. Tell us about your podcast. Tell us about you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you guys go to like joshhurd.net, it's kind of a one-stop shop for, the books, the films, all that stuff. And then audible.com, if you just search Josh Hurd or whatever, all these books will show up. The ones that I have narrated and all of that. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are more interesting than others. I narrated an entire book on NFTs, which I even put myself to sleep.
Really?
For fuck's sake, man. It was terrible. Absolutely horrible. Don't ever do it. But yeah, my God.
And
it was crazy.
Tell me you did it all like in one monotone voice. So it's like perfect. So
yeah. And that was it, right? It's like, dude, oh my God. It was like, this is horrible. Nobody's gonna listen to this.
Right?
Oh my God. But yeah. So I'll do a little bit of it, whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. But joshhurd.net. And then of course, if you cruise over to YouTube, it's at Josh Hurd 1981, I believe is the page. And every 2 weeks I put out a video. I do live things as well. I do live video feeds here from the manor, and just let it roll all night long. Sometimes we put up equipment. Sometimes we just see what happens without any human interaction whatsoever or no intervention, just to see how the building is reacting.
Like you see if someone yells at you and says, hey.
There have been some interesting freaking things that we have captured for sure. But yeah, just trying to do fun stuff or whatever like that. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell, really.
Yeah. Outstanding. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Do me a favor. Don't run away. I'm just going to close it down and I'll come back and talk to you here in a second.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Say good night to Josh Hurd. Night, Josh Hurd. Love you.
Night, guys.
Coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I will see you here in a second, brother.
Yeah.
Let me figure out how to jump you off screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. So that was Josh. Fantastic person. I told you you're going to love him. Next week, I am not doing a show because I will be traveling. I will be heading to Florida for work. So that's actually a travel day for me. So that's why I'm not going to do anything. I may be trying to do a show either sometime this week or after I get back. Because after I get back, I'm turning around and leaving again to go back to Florida to go to Orlando MegaCon, where I'll be actually working a booth, and I'll be on a couple of panels, paranormal panels and stuff like that. So I'll send messages out if anything comes up. If not, I will see you all in a couple of weeks. Other than that, let me throw my ugly stuff up there really quick. There's all mine, scrolling on the bottom. I'm got stuff going on outside of travel. If I'm not traveling for work, or I'm not traveling just to go screw off, I am booked basically all the way through March or April. So I have a lot of shows coming up. So don't worry about me just disappearing and blah, 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 and stuff like that. So there's all my stuff at the bottom. Kick.com is my new one, as a matter of fact. I just started that one probably about a month ago. And then, of course, my email is stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. Much appreciated. Love you all. Stay safe.